Welcome back, everybody. It is the Working Brother back at you with another talk. Yet again, we've got Matt. Matt, welcome back. How you doing?
I'm doing really good, Working Brother. How are you doing?
Excellent, excellent. Good to be back. Good to be recording again, and good to be talking to all you interesting people. And not only for my benefit, but for the benefit of all the viewers. Right?
Amen.
We've got a couple of interesting topics lined up. Some conspiracy theories, as always. I mean, history. And then we've got some actual conspiracy theories about, like, Tesla, right? We're going to get into Tesla today.
If you'd like, yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, excellent. Tell us, how's Canadistan?
Canadistan is still all fascisty, you know? Fascisty, left and right. It is what it is, you know. I wrote a whole book series on the untold history of Canada to try to like hammer this ugly fact into my fellow Canadians' minds, which is that we can only understand what to do about the current crisis when we come to realize that Canada is not, nor has it ever been, an authentic sovereign nation state. That's a big myth. And in times
He's joking.
of crisis,
He's joking. This is a comedy show. This has nothing to do with reality. It was just all jokes and comedy.
Sure.
Go on.
If you want. Okay. Yeah, it's a thing. So, you know, in times of crisis, you can feel what could otherwise have been ignored in times of plenty or apparent stability, which is this iron grip of the empire that's above any type of democratic institution from the, you know, and that manages things from the Privy Council office, these weird unelected bureaucratic structures that exert a lot of power and don't serve the interests of Canadians at all, but are rather interested in utilizing Canada as a geopolitical chess piece in a broader great game. So anybody who wants to look into that story could go to my website and read my books. But it's a thing. It's provable. Doesn't mean that we can't become a real country someday, but we got to like look at this ugly fact that's subverted a lot of good throughout the last 240 years or so. And otherwise, yeah, things are okay. I'm all right.
Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Let's get this meme out of the way. 8 million Americans slipped into poverty during the coronavirus pandemic. New study finds. They slipped.
Oh, what an accident. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
Who would have thunk it that something like that could happen?
Yeah, we meant well, but accidentally destroyed all these people's lives. Oops.
Things happen. What can you do? Did you hear about Mexico? I just want to get this out of the way too. This is not Photoshopped. This is real. The Mexican president.
He's got a little bit of a Mr. Burns thing going, eh?
Scheinbaum. This is not a meme. I mean, this is not Photoshop. This is a real picture. All right. I think we've done enough of that. Where's my little tab? Should we get into Tiananmen Square, or should we get into, or should we get? Listen, I did like a footage search. I was like, let's find some stock footage for like Tiananmen Square, and I came across this Deutsche Welle, a little thing. I sped it up for comedic effect and also for copyright, whatever. But I think we should listen to this intro of how Tiananmen Square is presented, and then we can take it from there.
Chinese government's crackdown in and around Tiananmen Square in 1989 came to be symbolized by this iconic image of one man blocking a tank advance. For weeks, students had occupied the space demanding economic and political reforms, and eventually, officials had had enough. They declared martial law and the military moved in. Beginning in the early hours of June 4th, soldiers fired on civilians. Estimates range from a few hundred to several thousand people killed. The movement was successfully suppressed. And its memory has also been successfully suppressed in China. 1.4 billion people, that's a fifth of the world's population, do not have ready access to the facts of what happened in Tiananmen Square. Beijing has never...
But we do, because we're sponsored by the CIA and Project Mockingbird.
...or given a clear account of what happened.
A single day in 19...
Okay, that's all I wanted to run by you. How do you respond to such details?
Yeah, well, you know, there are these weird sacred myths that have been concocted over the years, but it's hard to maintain them, especially after things like WikiLeaks came out. And in 2011, WikiLeaks had a massive data dump of all of the American embassy cables from 1989 June, describing different cables from different members of the embassy, the Chilean embassy, all on the ground at Tiananmen Square during the time that we've been told was this mass crackdown, shooting, murder of innocents that range between 100 to like 20,000 people. Like the rates of estimations are hugely volatile. Like who estimates like that?
I have to interject because this is not scripted, but I actually have a meme on that subject from our favorite Serbian meme coordination council that says the massacre didn't happen, and that WikiLeaks in 2011, basically what you just said out loud, and it's a meme because there's a Serbian meme that's been going because we're genocidal now. In case you didn't know, Serbian, So there's a meme that's been going on around for many years in Serbia where these little stars basically in Serbian spell out there was no genocide in Srebrenica. You know what I mean? So it's like a double meme of there was no Chinese Tiananmen and there was no Srebrenica.
That's brilliant.
Now you may continue. Because I was planning to bring up the meme later, but like you were right on point. So like sorry.
No, we're on the same wavelength. It's good. We're reading from the same Akashic records. So the thing that was revealed and that was known to the U.S. Embassy at the time is that there was, in fact, no murder, nothing like that, no mass shootings onto students whatsoever. Didn't happen on June 4th or any other time. There were clashes. The tank man, who, like that lady said, is so iconic as a symbol of Tiananmen Square in the fight for liberty and freedom against Chinese authoritarian tyranny. I was led to believe, as most people I know in the West were also led to believe for many years of my life, this is what I believed, that guy died. He got crushed by a tank. The fact is, that is
I also remember that. I also remember being taught that, or like vaguely, like it's a Mandela effect, like school brainwashing thing. But like, yes, I remember that.
but yeah, that's an extract from a longer video clip. And if you watch the whole thing in context, the guy is pulled away very, very civilly from the tank after he like jumps on it, talks to like an employee.
We actually have it courtesy of CNN.
Oh, you do.
11 years ago. Hold on, let me just turn it down. Yeah, let me just turn it down, and I'll play it here in the background, quote unquote, courtesy of CNN.
These tanks are not going into Tiananmen Square as we were told. They were trying to leave Tiananmen Square after martial law was declared, when things were starting to get violent due to agents provocateurs committing violence.
For real,
and there's the guy. He's like staring it down with his groceries, yelling. God knows what the hell was motivating him. The tank is not advancing onto the guy. He's still just yelling, staring it down. The guy's like trying to get around him now. He won't let him. Obviously, little dog, big dog problem here. Can't take a lesson. And again, this is where I always thought, and this is usually where people stop watching the video and they're like, oh, he obviously died next. He got crushed for freedom.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see what happens. You can speed it up maybe. There he is, jumps on the tank. Yell at a soldier. How courageous. Yep. Yeah, you go yell. Go yell. Okay. Yeah. Angry at the Chinese soldier.
Nobody can accuse us of being Russian propaganda anymore. We're just like...
Okay, alright.
We're now CCP propaganda. By the way, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff.
Spreading our wings. Okay, all right. Now he's really getting serious. He's squatting on the tank. Is he gonna take a dump on the tank? Who knows?
Has the video frozen?
No, it's just he's taking his time. You can skip it. Some shots in the background. Or shooting at him. No. Right.
Who knows if that's actually shots in the background, if that's superimposed by CNN.
I don't know. I bet
realistically speaking.
I have no idea. Okay, the guy's like, get the hell off my tank. And this guy's like, what, telling it to back up? But keep it going. I mean, just forward ahead a little bit to the end. Oh, they didn't show the whole thing. Oh, what comes next is a dude comes out and like pulls him off the street. They walk off the street.
There you go. There you go.
That's the end of the story. But we were all given a different drama. The other thing too, in my presentations on the topic, and this has been thoroughly documented, there are dozens of images. Oh, there you go. You can click. I've got a whole like dossier below that, and if people click on that that's on my Substack. If people click on the presentation, they'll be given a PowerPoint featuring dozens of images of soldiers, Chinese Communist Party soldiers, who were not given even guns for the majority of that time, who were lit on fire, strangled to death, and lit on fire by the agents provocateurs who were infused into the student protesters. And the protesters were not there because they wanted a regime change. They were there because there was the Friedmanite liberalization policies under George Soros in the 80s in China were resulting in mass inflation of food products, consumer goods went up by 27%. Tuition was going up. The kids wanted some alleviation of that financially. They went to memorialize a recently deceased leader of China named Hu Yaobang, who had just died. So they went down to just give their respects. And that's when the CIA, Gene Sharp, the whole National Endowment for Democracy crowd got into heavy work and tried to turn this peaceful movement of grievance among students into something that would be a regime change operation, which is the thesis I lay out in that presentation there that you're showing.
So you're saying that it was a regime change color coup type of thing going on? I mean, we've discussed this before. I'll leave a link somewhere to our previous talk on the subject. I think we basically did a talk about that a year ago. But it's always good to see that, to revisit it and open maybe some new chapters and new people's eyes to some of the details. Now, should we get into some more memes, or should we get into some of your more serious topics?
You are the maestro, good sir.
I am the maestro. In that case, you can find me on Buy Me a Coffee. Everybody who has bought me a coffee already, thank you. Everybody who's a Patreon, thank you to you guys as well. And thank you for sticking around while I was gone. Now, let me find some memes. This one has to do with the government, so you might enjoy that. Don't try to bend the government. That's impossible. Instead, only realize the truth. There is no government, only banks and corporations.
That has some touch of truth to it.
How do you feel about Tom Cruise being a vampire?
Like a spiritual vampire, or an energy vampire, or like a literal vampire drinking human blood?
This is him then and now. Vampire.
Oh, right. That's 40 years ago, and that's today. Yeah, he's definitely. It's weird, eh? It's weird. He's in a time capsule. It's strange.
The doorbell, just for you.
I mean, there is something weird in Scientology, I gotta say. And Scientology is an outgrowth of Aleister Crowley's Ordo Templi Orientis cult. And L. Ron Hubbard was a self-professed Satan. He called himself literally Satan, not the Antichrist, but Satan himself. And he saw himself as the carrier of the legacy of Aleister Crowley after Crowley died. And so L. Ron, when he created his sci-fi cult, brought in a lot of these weird rituals and masqueraded them as self-help manuals and Dianetics things that were rooted in cybernetics, a cybernetics evaluation of the mind. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some weird, nefarious, ritualistic shit at the OT7 or OT8, operating thetan, that, as they call it, levels that are a bit higher up. Maybe there's some weird ritual shit there. I don't know if it accounts for keeping people's physiologies as weirdly in stasis as Tom Cruise is, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things going on these days. I've got a couple of articles here.
Oh, Oh, that's a video I did. That's an interview.
What's this about?
That's about my occult Tesla series. So I've published 12 of a larger Tesla series, which will be a book. And I did an interview on some of the content. That's part 2 of the series on Tesla's eugenics and other black magic, dealing with the
Tesla's
occult.
Eugenics?
Tesla's eugenics. Yeah.
Okay. You've got to, like being a Serb, you've got to educate me on this, because I'm sure there might be stuff that I haven't heard.
Oh, yeah. There's an ugly side to Tesla that's super disturbing and messed up and bad. I think he was a complete tool of an oligarchy that was trying to subvert science and create a new cult around the personality that was Tesla. I don't think he was a real thing as far as a sovereign mind.
So you're saying he was a project, basically?
He's a project.
He was their Scientologist guy back then?
Yeah, kind of. Sure, that wouldn't be an untruthful thing to say. No.
There is that conspiracy theory that none of the stuff that he discovered or created or invented is actually invented. It was all like from a past civilization. It was all just attributed to him. It was all like lost technology that has been hidden from us, like, the distribution of electricity through the air and whatnot. That's been hidden from us so that they could charge us for it. Is that what you're getting at, basically?
Not so much. I'm getting at the fact that the technologies that were viable associated with Tesla, there's like 300 patents to his name. So some of those patents involve viable technologies, AC current motors that involve AC current, things like that. The ones that actually had practical commercial viability were, I'm seeing a lot of evidence that they were all stolen from other scientists who were actually using an intelligible method of inquiry and discovery. And then it was stolen and packaged.
Like Marconi, you're saying? Like Marconi, for example?
Marconi, Roentgen, Edison's allies. There was a whole network of scientists who were doing real work. I cite a number of them in my article series. And then you have that factor. And it was largely networks around the Royal Society and a bunch of black magic occultists around Aleister Crowley, who were managing Tesla in America. Around the Astors, the Vanderbilt family that was also handling Tesla. That's a picture of one of the main guys who was an ally of a close occultist who was working with Crowley and was the best friend of Tesla. He was also the official Nazi representative to America in the 30s and 40s. His name was George Sylvester Virake. He was an American poet. And again, a practicing occultist who he actually was a vampire. He actually wrote poetry in homage of being powers over ritual murders of male victims that you would be having sex with, as Crowley was doing with his magical workings in World War I. So he was actually doing poetry, sickening poetry on this topic of extracting their energy in the midst of these weird occult rituals. And anyway, this guy was like,
it's art, man. You don't get it. It's just art.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. It's an ongoing theme.
So yeah, he was the guy who was like living with Tesla. Tesla was in 5-star hotels in New York, run by the Waldorf Astoria, the Continental, a few others. Always 5-star hotels his whole life, and working very closely with this guy Virake. And tied directly to German intelligence, which was run by which had been taken over mostly by a bunch of occultists at that time. And his Tesla Tower was taken down in the United States, not because it was providing free electricity to people. That was a mythology created by George Sylvester Virake in 1934, that his Tesla Tower in Long Island, that one, was created to provide free energy, and the JP Morgan just didn't like losing the money, so they tore it down. No, not true. Actually, and I prove this in my series, especially on the part 11 on Harry Houdini, which goes at this from an interesting angle. It was actually a transmitter for information from Crowley and Virake to German intelligence that provided information like the sinking of the Lusitania to German intelligence where the Lusitania was going to be in 1915, that it was carrying munitions to World War I, even though America was neutral. That information was supplied through Tesla's towers. It was owned by a German conglomerate, and it was.
I'm getting the feeling that you're trying to say that he was Croatian, as in working with the Nazis.
I don't know what is. I don't think he had any any allegiance to any country, Croatian or American or anything.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But
as is the case with most of these people.
Yeah, and in that article, part 2 and part 3 on Tesla's eugenics, I cite from Tesla's own words extensively his support for eugenics. Again, extensively. As well as
is it like the old school cool eugenics, like the good for mankind eugenics, or is it like the really bad eugenics of like bad people? Eugenics.
No, he applauds. Yeah. Right. I don't know what the good eugenics is. I don't even know what that is.
But,
right. You're subtle. Okay. Yeah. No, it's unfortunate.
No, I'm saying like when eugenics was cool, when it was the in thing in the 1920s.
Yeah. He was trying to be one of the cool kids, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So, there's like 12 articles here. How many?
So far, it's going to be probably like 16 or 17. I'm going to end with Elon Musk and Tesla 2.0 in the modern age. That'll be the last one that I'm building up towards, because it's all part of the same thing. It's one thing. So yeah, we're getting there.
Interesting. I never liked Musk, like from the onset.
No, Musk is a synthetic personality with handlers, just like Tesla was. There's nothing there. And he's a transhumanist world government fan as well. So as was Tesla. Tesla was actually a fan of not just eugenics, but a scientific dictatorship managed by a scientific elite. He actually was promoting that as the ideal utopia for society, which is why he's so useful today and why he was picked up to be Elon Musk's sort of brand.
I want to get into something with you that popped up on my feed, and I was surprised to find out that other than Gay Pride Month, it is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Have you ever heard about this?
No, happy Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Right? Have you ever heard about Mental Health Awareness Month for men? I've never heard about this, not until this month.
No, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like this meme right here. Men's Mental Health Society. Be a man. How does that make you feel that you've never heard about it? And how old are you now?
I'm at least 4 decades old now, and I've never heard of that. I feel like I've really been left out of the loop. Could my mental health be better if I had known about it? Shit.
Probably.
Damn. I've been left out of the party. Damn.
Some classical memes from the Working Brother Instagram account. Go find me on Instagram also if you're on Instagram. I know more of you are on Instagram that are following me, but you'll be there sooner or later. This anniversary happened recently too. What do you have to say about this anniversary?
Never forget what happens when reasonable men are pushed to do unreasonable things. What is this thing? It's a castle he built onto a bulldozer?
Yeah, that guy who lost his shit because of some bills and went to shoot people. Well, actually,
you serious? I never saw this setup. I don't know anything about this dude.
Oh, for real?
No,
I can't remember what his name is. I thought you'd know him. I have to find that after the show and send it to you. But yeah.
Did he kill people?
No, only cops who came after him. I think. I don't think he actually killed anyone. He just went on a rampage and destroyed the local municipality buildings and whatever somewhere in the U.S. long time ago. Because they wanted to tax him for some shit that was already his or something. I can't remember. Anyway. Oh. When people are discussing a world event, but you haven't seen a meme about it yet. The are these people talking about?
Yeah. Hunter S. Thompson I was reading an essay, just going through his daily routine that he needed for his creative sort of juices to start working.
Mm-hmm.
It's so unhealthy. I mean, this guy would wake up at like usually 3 p.m. He would first thing drink Shavas Regal, then another Shavas Regal, then a cigarette, then a coffee, then another Shavas Regal, for as a cycle for a little while until he would go to the local diner and get 2 cheeseburgers, 2 fries, an onion ring, cheesecake. He had like a huge. It's almost like he was trying to commit suicide slowly. Then he would come back home, do another Shavas Regal, and then drop acid. He would like balance it out with some uppers and downers incrementally, mixed in with Shavas Regal and cigarettes, up until about 12 o'clock, which is when he would start writing. And then he would get his creative. Once his creative juices were going, then he would do his writing work. Articles, books, whatever, and then go to bed at around 8:30 a.m. to do it all over again. And he did this for decades. I don't know how he stayed alive. I mean, he committed suicide, I think, in 2004 or something. But and thin, and he was a thin guy too. On top of that, which is quite astounding. Whether he's bulimic, I have no idea. He definitely needed Men's Mental Health Month. He definitely needed that badly.
I want to put this Chinese proverb up in the background. The person who says it cannot be done should not interrupt the one doing it. Have you heard of this Chinese proverb?
A great proverb.
Do you have any wisdom you'd like to share with us before we round this talk out?
I feel like that last meme involved perhaps a magic trick. I'd like to be able to pick up that basket and see if it's really a basket that's not nailed down. I really have my doubts. I don't know. I feel like
there could be a rock there. Yeah, there could be a rock there, but it could be nailed to the ground as well. But you know,
or like maybe some subtle strings. If we kick the basket away, would he like just hang there? I don't know. I just again, I don't buy it.
I don't know, man. There's a lot to the Chinese martial arts and Chinese medicine that like Western medicine still has to learn.
They got their own magicians too. They got their own magic tricks and snake oil salesmen.
You think it's snake oil? You think it's all snake oil?
Not all, but they got their own fair share. So I'm cynical enough to just always go into doubt when I when I see things. That's my first instinct, is doubt first.
All right. In any case, if anyone was offended by anything we have said today, we suggest you stop finding these posts. If you're new here and you enjoyed this comedic abuse, torture, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Patreons, thank you for supporting. Everyone who's bought coffees, thank you for buying coffees. Matt, is there anything you'd like to draw attention to while we round this off?
No, I'm good. This was fun.
All right, excellent. Good to talk to you again. See you
Likewise.
soon. Peace out, everyone.